Every so often, a breakthrough comes along in AI that just completely changes the game. And today, we're diving into one of those moments. We're going to talk about a new model called Intellect-3. But it's not just about the model. It's about the totally new way it was built from the ground up.
Okay, let's just jump right into the results because honestly, they're pretty shocking. On this really tough math benchmark, AMI 2024, Intellect-3 scored a whopping 90.8%. Now, that's not just a high score. It blows past established heavyweights like GLM 4.5 Air and DeepSeek. We're not talking about a small step forward here. This is a giant leap.
And that brings us to the big mystery. Intellect-3 only has 12 billion active parameters. In the AI world, that's kind of like a lightweight boxer stepping into the ring with super heavyweights and winning. So how on earth did they pull this off?
Well, to get how this is even possible, you first have to appreciate what Intellect-3 really is. It's a new, state-of-the-art model that is seriously punching above its weight class. It's showing off some incredible skills, not just in math, but in coding, science, and really complex reasoning too. But here's the real kicker. The secret sauce, the big innovation here. It isn't just the AI model at the end. It's the incredibly powerful, super efficient, and this is the most important part, completely open source factory they built to create it. So think of it less like a single perfect painting and more like the entire assembly line for building masterpieces over and over again.
So how does this AI factory actually work? Well, it's got three main parts. First, you've got Prime RL, which is basically the high-performance engine. Then there's the verifiers and environments hub. Think of this as the AI's school curriculum. And finally, you have the Prime sandboxes. These are like the safe, high-tech gyms where the AI gets to work out.
Let's start with that engine, Prime RL. This thing is an open-source framework built for one purpose, to train AI using reinforcement learning, but at a massive scale. It's designed to be crazy efficient, and it handles all the complicated moving parts needed to make the whole factory run like a well-oiled machine. Next up, you need a curriculum, right? That's where the verifiers library and environments hub comes in. This is where the AI gets its entire education. It's a huge collection of tasks, problems, and the rules for grading them. It's basically a standardized set of textbooks and final exams that you can use to teach any AI a new skill, whether it's math, coding, or something else entirely. And of course, every student needs a place to practice. That's what the Prime sandboxes are for. These are totally secure, isolated environments. The best analogy is a flight simulator for a pilot or a high-tech gym. It's a place where the AI can try to solve problems by writing and actually running code, learning from its mistakes without any risk of breaking anything in the real world.
Okay, let's look a little closer at this engine. What exactly is it about Prime RL that makes it so fast and powerful? Well, the secret is all about how it manages its time. See, the old way of doing this is called synchronous training, and it's slow. The AI generates some practice problems, but then it has to completely stop and wait while the main model learns from them. It's just full of bottlenecks. The new way, the asynchronous way, is different. The AI is constantly generating new data and practicing at the exact same time the model is learning. There's literally no downtime. And a key piece of that puzzle is an optimization called continuous batching. Instead of waiting for a whole batch of problems to finish, the system just instantly swaps in a new one the second an old one is done. This keeps the GPUs, the real workhorses of the operation, constantly humming, always busy, always running at peak capacity. This is what makes it feel like a real assembly line. It's all about pushing things through as fast as possible.
Okay, so we've got the engine figured out. Now let's look at the training ground itself. How does an AI in this system actually go from knowing almost nothing to solving incredibly hard problems? It all comes down to this really simple but incredibly powerful three-step loop. First, the AI gets a task from a dataset. Simple enough. Second, it tries to solve it, step by step, in a process they call a rollout. Maybe it writes a line of code or the next step in a math proof. And finally, a rubric, which is just a fancy name for a set of scoring rules, grades its attempt and gives it a reward. It just does this over and over and over, millions of times, getting just a little bit smarter with every single try.
And whenever that task involves writing code, this is where those Prime sandboxes really shine. Inside these safe little containers, the AI can actually execute the code it just wrote to see if it works. It's literally learning by doing in the most direct way imaginable, and that's absolutely critical if you want to build an AI that can solve real-world problems.
So building a champion AI like this isn't some one-shot deal. It's a very deliberate journey, a two-phase training plan designed to first build a strong foundation and then sharpen that foundation to a razor's edge.
And that process has two main stages. It kicks off with something called supervised fine-tuning, or SFT for short. Then it graduates to the really advanced stuff, reinforcement learning, or RL, which is what we've been talking about.
Here's the best way to think about it. Stage 1, SFT. That's like learning from a textbook. The AI just studies thousands and thousands of examples of problems that already have the correct solutions. Stage 2, RL, that's learning by doing. The AI is just let loose in that gym to try solving problems all by itself, getting rewards for good tries and learning from its own mistakes.
So, did all this actually work?
Oh yeah, big time. During that reinforcement learning phase, the team was constantly testing the model, and the scores on all the important benchmarks just kept going up and up and up. It was the clearest sign you could ask for. The AI was getting smarter with every single training cycle. The factory was working perfectly.
Look, a new, powerful AI model is always cool to see. But the story here, what's really going on, is so much bigger than just one AI. The real headline is what this means for everybody else.
And this, right here, this is the most important part of the whole story. The Prime Intellect team didn't just publish a paper or release their final model. No, they gave away the keys to the entire kingdom. They open-sourced the whole factory, the Prime RL engine, the curriculum with all the training environments, and the complete recipe for how they built INTELLECT-3. I mean, this quote from the team says it all. This isn't just about showing off a finished product. It's about sharing the tools, the infrastructure, and the knowledge so that the entire open-source community can start building the next generation of AI. Which leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. For the very first time, the complete toolkit for building a top-tier reasoning AI is just out there, available to anyone. So the question isn't who can build the next great AI anymore. Now that the factory doors are open for everyone, what gets built next?